Sci-Fi.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willie. I'm Wade.
I'm Willie.
This is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. Join us on patreon.com/reallifesci-fi. Should I smile more? I feel like I frown. Do you think I can even say this when I smile? All right, here, let me try. I'm going to start over. I'm going to smile though. Because I've been watching Southern Charm and it's like the male version of like disgruntled housewives or whatever, those housewives, real housewives. And there's this one guy and he's so charming because he smiles all the time, and I'm like, fuck, he's bringing people in. I should do that. All right, so
I know,
go.
dude. I just side note, I'm starting to feel more like I'm just turning into an Ed McMahon because I'm like, he just laughs, and I'm like, half the time I have so many thoughts in my head and I don't want to say them all because I don't want to derail other people saying shit. And I just end up just laughing. And I'm like, so many times I just laugh at a comment and not even say anything afterwards. Anyways.
Yeah, you suck, dude. So wait, does that make me Johnny Carson? Or you just mean in life?
I specifically mean in the show because I talk too much anyway. So I've definitely in the past couple of years have like tried to take a back seat, even though
I'm inviting you to not be Ed McMahon for this episode because I'm not like a big chatty guy. I wrote my notes of things I want to get out, and I'm sure I'll get to them, but you can feel free to hop in.
All right. See, well, you just did it.
We're unleashing the beast.
All right, everyone ignore that voice. He doesn't exist yet. Oh, I forgot what I was doing. Okay, I have to smile when I say this. Tell me if this is charming or creepy. And I'm sorry for the listeners. This is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. Join us on patreon.com. I don't know why my inflection is. I guess you have to when you smile. Join us on patreon.com/reallifesci-fi for access to 2 bonus episodes a week, video feeds, and more. Also, visit RealLifeSciFi.show for all of our links.
That's great.
Is it better?
We could hear the smile.
Do people like me more now? Let's welcome aboard the SSRLSF our friend. He's a satire writer and shit poster. It's Brett McCabe. What up? What up, Brett? How are you?
I'm doing all right.
How's your shit?
Playhouse.
My shit's
dog?
nice and smooth, and it flows out.
Oh,
I get my brand.
Yeah, do you do Metamucil?
Sure, we got it all.
I gotta ask you, a satire writer feels like only in the New Yorker, right? Like, how do you do you just mean you're a comedy writer and you're saying yourself? What's it? Give me a.
I'm trying to differentiate myself. Like, if I call myself like a comedy writer, that's like every other jerk off in LA.
Yeah.
Right? So if I be more specific
I say,
and I have like published stuff on the Hard Times and hard drive, it feels more, I don't know, just fucking specific.
Did you ever get anything on what was Egger's website called? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, McSweeney's. You ever get anything on there? I got one bad food review on there. I don't know if they still do that or not.
I just never read it, so I don't feel a need to contribute if it's not something that I enjoy.
I love the satire writer thing. So you're like Dave Barry, right? You guys know Dave Barry, right?
I know the name, but
he was like the most famous sort of like, what did they call that guy? Like an opinion, like what did they call him? Like, there's a different name. Instead of satirist, it was like
he was a humorist.
Did you find anything?
Writer?
Humorist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Humorist. That's so funny.
I know.
I edge around comedy. Like there's comedy and I'm kind of like around there, you know?
I feel like I'm not funny enough to be a comedy writer. I might just be a humorist. I might just be down here where comedy's
I'm
up
a
here.
funny bone tickler is what I am. Very serious about it. There's methods.
I'll give you a little joshing.
Yeah.
Professional
Maybe you could be
josher.
a josher. Maybe you're not even a humorist. You're a josher.
I'm a Josh. That's like God damn it. All my references are failing my brain. Who's the old bald guy? The comedy guy who everyone loves, who insults people. The original insult comic. What's that guy's name?
Oh, I love him. He's the voice of the piggy bank in Toy Story.
Yes. What the fuck
Don
is that
Rickles.
guy's name? Don Rickles.
Love Rickles.
I'm glad I can remember.
He's the best. I'm glad you did too, man. All right. Well, let me ask you what is your thoughts on this world, this conspiracy theory sort of like area that we are in? I don't mean in life. I mean that Willie and I toil in weekly.
It's interesting. A lot of it's
Do you are
bullshit, but a
you
lot of it's fun.
yeah, which and we're going to go through the WoW scale, but do you find yourself gravitating to any of these things, or do you just look at them for entertainment?
Okay, for entertainment, I love the human lizard theory. I love dehumanizing people in government because they are not people to me. I I
Okay,
think it's fun
okay.
to think
So
about.
you like the reptilian fun thing? The eyes are the slits going up and down, and that somehow controlled by. Did you ever watch the
Yeah,
TV series V?
no, but I've seen the original Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Mario Brothers movie like covers reptilians in a great way. Alternate dimension, like pretty
It
cool, pretty
it's
fun.
so that movie is so insane considering the original story.
The
We
TV series V is great because these aliens show up. They look like us. They're actually nice. Let's have a meeting with the government and make an agreement that they can be here. And then an investigative journalist finds out they're reptilians with like skin covering, and they rip the person's face off on live TV, and it's a lizard.
And
That's
that's
fun.
bad now. It's like, oh wait, they look like lizards, so like they're evil. Like, weren't they cool?
I
Or
like
are
Oh,
they
lizards.
actually
Lizards are pretty cool.
nefarious?
yo, yeah, they were trying to take over and terraform and all the things, like
What was their
we're
version of terraforming?
I don't remember because it really was more of an action TV show, and I liked it, but I just haven't watched it in so long.
I don't like action TV shows.
Are there different types of terraforming? I thought there's only one.
Well, I just meant like when we terraform something, we're trying to put oxygen into the air so that we can live there. But aliens, who knows what's going
It's
on in
got to
their
be
atmosphere?
Heat's the answer.
Well, maybe they just want to get rid of all the water. Let's do the WoW scale.
Wow, scale.
The WoW scale stands for WadeandWilly. It's a five question quiz. At the end of the five questions, I'll give you a score anywhere between 0 and 5. If you're more of a 0, you're more of a Wade. If you're more of a 5, you're more of a Willy. You ready to be Wade on the WoW scale?
I recall who I've sided with in past episodes, but I'm gonna take the test and let's do things right here.
All right. First question is a three-parter. Do you believe in aliens? If so, have they visited Earth? If so, have they visited Earth in the last 300 years?
I mean, we still haven't verified what those UFOs or whatever they're called now. I'm gonna go with yes, but more in like a agnostic kind of way. Like I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Like I'm sure there's germs on some planet. It might not
Yeah.
be little spaceships flying around.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Wade, try this on your next question. Instead of thinking of smiling, try thinking that you're asking your grandma the question.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. So as I'm asking my grandma, do you believe in ghosts?
No, but here's a butterscotch.
Thank you. Oh my God. Bigfoot?
No.
Bigfoot, man. No love. Illuminati.
It's hard to say yes or no because like I don't know if it's all like
The
deep
definition of it, right?
deep dark conspiracies, but we just saw all the tech billionaires at the Trump inauguration.
Yeah.
Right? Proof is in the pudding for that because he immediately like changed his mind on something day one.
But
Oh,
do
the
you
TikTok
think,
ban?
well, the TikTok ban and the crypto, he hated crypto. He
Yeah,
used to
yeah,
hate crypto.
yeah. I was thinking crypto because I'm
But
like,
if the
yeah,
money's right,
I mean, then he sold his coin and like, ugh, this fucking guy, Jesus
the Melania
Christ.
coins tanking.
I thought you weren't supposed to. Well, it's all rug pulls, right? I mean, you get it to a
yeah.
certain
Yeah.
point, and then I thought you weren't supposed to make money as a president. Like,
That's what
I
I
thought you
thought too.
weren't.
It's like I don't know why
Like
there wasn't
like in
ever.
prison, you're not supposed to sell a book about your crime, right? Like they're like, don't do that. Like you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah,
It feels like that should be the case for presidents. They should.
I always wondered why there wasn't like a shoe for a president. Like picture how athletes have got shoes, but like there's like a walking around person shoe. Like, hey, you know what? These are really great for being on your feet all day. The president wears them. Yeah, I got my Biden's last week. I've been walking ever since.
Got my Air Obamas.
Right. Just blatant endorsement deals. I mean, why not? So wait, you haven't answered.
I mean, I do follow a social media account called Pelosi Stock Tracker.
Yeah, I do too.
Uh,
That's great.
so I'm gonna say yes, that.
Because of the Pelosi stock tracker? What is that?
So Nancy Pelosi loves to trade stock, and she always makes moves right before big announcements happen
Oh
because she
shit. Did
knows
she did she
before.
short
Insider
it?
trading
Yeah,
Yeah.
going
Did she
on.
did she did she short the whole market today?
I can't recall any specific incidents off the top of my head, but I'm sure if
I
I
know. I
looked it
haven't
up
I haven't
correctly.
made any moves, but she's made millions upon millions.
Well, Pelosi's out. I mean, like, she's not getting the tips anymore. All right, so yes to the Illuminati.
Sure, yeah.
Multiverse. What do you think of the multiverse?
I'm going to say no, but it is like a fun, entertaining idea.
It's very fun to talk about and think about. So you are we're going to give you a one. So you're basically a Wade. Congratulations. You're on the right side of history. We're going to expose Willie to all of his foolishness.
I do
What?
often think about Willie's theory about not gravity, but the alternative to whatever it is.
What's your answer to
It's
gravity?
it's just electromagnetism. It's just like the same way atoms work.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter anymore. Science is gone. We're not doing any research. It's all over. Go to fucking Germany if you want to be a scientist, I guess. I don't know. Willie hates you anyway. Willie hates all science. Did you
No, no,
know
no,
that?
no. I don't. I love science. It's just most scientists, they only get money for the things that they want you to research. None of them are at home doing their own shit they believe in. Anyways,
Because fucking no
it's not
money.
their fault.
Where do you
They're
think
just
the money
workers.
comes from? It's not their
Yeah,
fault. The system is rigged,
for
man.
sure. It's like doctors, you know, doctors think they're trying to help you. They just don't know shit. They just know what they've been taught.
I don't know. I don't know. Surgeons are like psychopaths, right? But I think doctors are, for the most part, trying to do good. The Hippocratic oath and shit.
Sure,
They seem
except they
cool.
all get kickbacks, you know. So how do the
Oh
kickbacks
my
help you
god, dude! What? You're so jaded. So what is the point of the world then?
right now? Until we make a change, the corporations are running everything.
Oh, so we're gonna stop that? We've got a fucking oligarchy happening, man. It's done. We're over. It's over. I'm sorry. Fuck it.
All right, here we
Fuck
go.
it. What are we talking about?
Everybody's so amped to listen to this episode now.
I'm
I know,
sorry. I'm
right?
so sorry.
They
I'm
just
so sorry.
hit
2025.
stop and
This
are
is going to
staring
be
off to the
really
sky
funny. It's
now.
going to be fun and lighthearted. And like, America's not dead. We're going to fucking overcome. Take
We
to the
got to we
streets.
got to team up and put some work into this shit.
Well, there is a big protest though, February something. Have you seen this going around? The 50 states, 50 protests at all the capitals. I don't know, look it up. If you're prone to protest, look that up. It's coming up.
Whether you agree with it or not, show up to document it because you know they're allowing military to jump in and help now.
Yeah, but are you going to be on a list and are you brave enough?
If everyone's on the list, great.
Okay, well, we're getting guns too.
They
We're all
can't
going to get
stop all
guns.
of us.
We'll see. Sorry, Willie, what are we talking about?
Tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi, consciousness transference. In Buddhism, this is also called Pawa, and in Tibetan, it refers to the practice of intentionally directing one's consciousness to a specific realm, typically, at the time of death, choosing where one will be reborn and mentally transferring one consciousness, comparing it to how we would do that today with our cutting-edge technology and what it means now, even with quantum computers, how this is kind of becoming a reality. Join us as we mix ancient realm ideas with modern technology tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi.
How is this not reincarnation?
I think Willie's going to be specifically looking at the Buddhist angle, which sounds more like reincarnation to me. And I was going to address more the sci-fi angle, like putting your brain in a computer.
Can we just, I don't want to derail the whole thing, but like, would you guys do that? Because my thing about this life is I fucking hate it. And maybe this is a chemical imbalance within me, but I welcome death. I would hate to have my brain in a fucking jar or whatever, or like into a computer and then into a new person to live forever, right? I would hate that.
Imagine having the same consciousness through many different bodies, but you're just depressed every time.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it's just misery
reincarnation
upon
would suck
misery.
ass.
I don't know that it gets any better. And like, I guess if you're Buddhist and you can choose, that's something. Because then Elon's like, well, I'll be the fucking son of like these apartheid fucking diamond people, and then I'll fucking make a shitload of money or whatever. I don't know. Can you do that, Willie? Could I
Well,
just choose to be Elon?
with reincarnation, a lot of stories in the East where they have stories of reincarnation, they're very close to the village they grew up in. So they know things from the local region. If you can direct yourself to be anywhere, and it's not a one-to-one of like, I'm gonna be a king.
That was actually my
But
question. Like, what is the choice? Like, what how much do you know? Is it like a scratcher lottery ticket where you're like,
I
maybe I'll be this, but I could be this.
in Buddhism, this particular practice, this power, it's more of a meditation technique.
It's
And
funny
you're
when you say that word. It sounds. I'm sorry. When you say that word, it sounds like a 6-year-old trying to say power.
I know, dude. I always think of power, power,
Or maybe a
Yeah, yeah.
Bostonian.
Oh, or about
or it's just '90s rap songs, power.
or
Uh,
I have the power. Right. That's He
what's the one
Man.
I'm thinking of? Oh, fight the power. That's what I'm thinking of.
But
We got to fight the power.
Yeah,
So it,
boy. Like, dude, his in Fight the
uh,
Power, Flavor Flav has one line and it's funny.
you
Did
say,
people
what is
don't?
this?
Well, yeah, but there's one where he talks for a while.
I appreciate
Anyway,
Flavor Flav because I think that all political rap needs a clown to stay entertaining.
it's actually
He,
kind of genius of them. I
Yeah.
think like if Rage Against the Machine just had a guy coming out going like bloobity blue, like I know that they were huge and shit, but like people didn't understand the message, and it maybe they probably wouldn't anymore. But I think Public Enemy, they were just like, let's hedge our bets here. Like I'm gonna do a shitload of political shit, and you just go like, yeah, boy, or whatever you do, and we'll have a lot of fun, and people won't know that we're like fighting the power.
so a lot of times this meditation practice is, preparing for death and trying to move towards enlightenment and trying to force the hand of you getting into your next life being closer to enlightenment also. So it's like a growing
But it's
push.
not
And
about
so,
seeking out challenges. Isn't it more just about like I go where I go and I'm fucking zen about it?
yeah, but if you're doing this practice, you've already done a bunch of other steps before that. Buddhism in a nutshell is like life inherently involves suffering. I might as well read a little bit. It's caused by desire and attachment. By following the eightfold path of ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom, one can achieve enlightenment, nirvana, and escape the cycle of rebirth. So it's kind of like the only reason why you're reincarnating is because you weren't learning something. So focus on what you need to learn now so that you actually, it's like you
But
only reincarnate until you're enlightened.
Oh, it's like
how
a
do you?
ghost
But how do
role.
you? How do you know what to be enlightened about? You know what I mean? Like,
I know it's so easy for someone living on a mountain to disconnect from a desire and attachment. It's like
oh, but
it's not in
maybe,
your face.
but that's probably the thing, right? Like, fucking get rid of all the noise. Like, politics doesn't matter to these people. They're just like, I want to pick flowers. That's my thing. I'm gonna pick these flowers, and then maybe I'll make a living because
Like I
I'm
picture moving to
Buddhist.
Tibet and then like renting a garage and like setting up the toys on the wall, doing a podcast. Try.
Well, so but wait, my question was: is it a scratcher or is it random?
Wait, you mean like what body are you going to end up in
Well, yeah, like
during
my
your
Elon
search?
Musk question, like, can I say I want to be like really power? Like, are they picking their next
I
life
imagine
or
there's no player select screen. I think it's just bam, you're a deer, or bam, you're a lizard.
that could be fun, like being a
uh,
deer?
I always felt like animals were a part of the evolutionary process of reincarnation. And I don't know if I'm mixing realms, but it's kind of like you're not going to turn into an animal unless you have a hard lesson to learn. So you're just trying to well, here's the real question here. Behind all of this all rests on the idea that our consciousness needs to grow. Now, modern science says consciousness lives and dies in your brain, and that it only exists there, and it's not actually an energy that goes beyond. So we're talking about moving our minds. I don't know why modern science is really trying to do this, because it's like if you're trying to put my brain into a computer, but you think my mind is the brain, then just plug in the brain.
I would actually argue in favor of that. The mind is the brain, and that's the only way to still be able to call that person the same person. Like if we put JFK's brain into a chimp, I would argue that is more JFK than the corpse of JFK.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of what JFK would, what the name for a chimp would be if it was JFK
Yeah, right.
in a chimp body.
I mean, I stole that visual from an old Dana Gould joke, but I
Oh,
don't
what
want
was
to
his joke?
misquote.
What was the punchline?
I don't want to misquote it, so I'm not even gonna bother.
I
Maybe you
would
could just
say
insert it right here.
Chimp F. Kennedy
That's not good.
Jr.
That's not good. The only thing you matched was the amount of syllables.
I know, I know, I know.
Oh, I mean, fuck. I was thinking of like JF Chimp, but
How
that's
about
not good either.
how about Ape FK?
How about Orangutan Jr.?
Oh. Do not ask what these bananas. I don't even want to finish it. It's so hacky.
Do not ask what this poop will be thrown at you. If this poop will be thrown at you.
That's so bad.
That's what you will do when that poop is thrown at you.
Yeah, just yeah.
So, I mean, this whole concept comes from the idea that your consciousness is the equivalent to playing a video game, and it steps out and it keeps learning and learning and learning. And
Right. You know what it's like in a video game? It's like remember in Halo when you could start over when you reach the maximum level, you could start over at 0, but you had like a little like star next to your guy or whatever. What was that called?
yeah.
In modern games, I think it's called New Game Plus, where you can replay the game, but it's going to be slightly different.
Prestige. No,
Prestige. No, or
it?
something like that. I thought it started with a P. Prestige, that doesn't sound right, but whatever.
No, Prestige is the Call of Duty thing. I know Halo had a different version.
There is the game genre of roguelikes, where once you die, there's no quick restart. Like you have to start all the way at the beginning, unless you got like one legendary weapon. Then you can start a new game, but you got to keep that one stupid weapon.
Can you explain to me what a roguelike is? Because I've read this, but I don't know what it is.
They're all linked to this old computer game. I think it was just called Rogue. And like you can't save your progress. You just play for as long as you can until you get killed.
Yeah. Did you ever? This is pre what you're explaining, but there was a game called Wizards and Warriors. In Wizards and Warriors, you have to start all the way in the beginning. The game took like 1 to 2 hours to play. This is like fucking tricky, hard ass fucking game to play. And if you
Zelda
die,
Majora's Mask is kind of a roguelike if you played the N64 game.
Man, I'm not a Nintendo guy.
I'm not either.
Whatever, we'll never figure it out.
No one will ever know.
Well, that's
I'm
the
sure
thing that sucks though, is that like you play a game like that and you put an hour into it. Are you going to put another hour into it to get to the same spot? You know, that fucking sucks.
You have to
Dude,
keep
I mean,
playing over and over and over again until you achieve enlightenment.
oh, like the meat game, right? Wasn't the meat game kind of like that, where you were like a
Super
ball of
Meat
meat?
Boy.
Yeah, Super Meat Boy. But you had to start over every time, I think. Maybe not. Maybe that was levels too. Zelda, the weird top-down Zelda. It was like a Final Fantasy. It was like a bird's eye view. I think it was 2. That was a really, you always had to start back at the temple where you started, and it was this whole huge map that you had to unlock. Remember that? Remember?
Zelda 2 for NES.
Yeah, the Adventure of Link. That, I mean, yeah, it was
Oh,
it
the
was a rough
adventure.
one. I fucking love that game. Yeah,
But now with mods, you
but
can save anywhere.
I put them
It's still
hours
hard.
into it. Yeah, fuck, dude.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But what we're saying, I think, well, I don't know. Is there more to like the sort of like analog reincarnation? And I'm going to use reincarnation as a shorthand because I don't
That's
remember what
fine.
you called it. What did you call it?
Consciousness transference. Like reincarnation is the same idea
well,
that you were the same person going through that,
do you
all those different
okay?
experiences.
But I mean, I can buy into that. I don't really believe in reincarnation, but it fits into my narrative of like what we are. Do you guys both think that we keep going, that we're like reborn until enlightenment?
I'm into their bullet points of like, there's suffering and attaching to material things, and I said material, just like things in this realm. It's weird how much mind play happens when you focus on it. And I'm talking about like putting yourself in check and living in that moment. It's so easy to not learn lessons and on the small level.
You think it's more of a tactical kind of like ploy to be like, you're supposed to learn. Like when you're living here, you're supposed to learn, and they don't really believe in reincarnation, but they're just like, this should be like a learning experience.
It's weird to try to analyze what we're doing here, because if you don't believe in the person that analyzed it, you have your own version, and it's like a lot of us in America, it's regional. It's like whatever you're taught growing up. If you're in a family or community or group that like doesn't believe in other things, they kind of keep you from exploring other things. And
yeah, until you're 20 and you fucking move out and never talk to
yeah,
them again.
but you just like it's easy to not explore. So
I think you're right. It's like, it's interesting because, well, Brett, do you what's the afterlife for you?
My interpretation is it's just black and there's nothing.
Yeah, just like sleeping or whatever. Or when you
Yeah.
get a colonoscopy and then you wake up and like 2 hours have passed.
I think it's nice to think about a drunk driver killing an entire family, then
You
then
think
becoming
that's nice? I don't even need to hear the
let
rest.
me
I love
finish
that you think
sentence
it's
before
nice.
it gets taken out of context. I think it's really nice to consider all those dead people.
All right, so a drunk driver kills a family.
And then they are reborn as a raccoon in an urban environment who later
And they
over.
get hit by a drunk driver, right? Or just run over.
Yeah, just run over.
Raccoons are so cute though. They get by on their looks.
They did bad things in the past.
Imagine if you pictured every raccoon as a drunk driver.
You wouldn't feel bad if you accidentally ran them
You
over.
wouldn't. Yeah, you'd be like, fuck that raccoon.
They're learning
Piece
a
of
lesson.
shit.
dude,
Yeah.
I know, but it makes you hold animosity towards raccoon. Get the fuck out of here. You don't get my trash.
You're swerving, and you're setting up traps like weird fireworks and shit.
I have it in my head that thousands upon thousands of years ago, somehow we were just a little more connected to the universe, and that was all kind of lost by just being here too long. And you know how we have seasons. Maybe our solar system goes through seasons, and it actually affects our consciousness. Maybe our human consciousness is affected by some Milky Way season or something. I don't know. But
Like a season for the galaxy is what you mean, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
all right.
it's weird when you get these little things stuck in your head that like power can't be destroyed or created, and it's like, well, they're actually flipping that on its head now too, because when they look at the energy in the vacuum of space, I don't want to say it's like mainstream, it could be fringe, but this is definitely like, there are scientists on record like looking at the emptiness of space and going like, there's a lot of energy in this, and we are not right about anything. And so when it comes to the energy of our life, you look at the cycles of just how everything works. Like, we don't know anything, and to connect to the fact that somehow our life is a cycle is pretty compelling to me. I don't think anybody has anything figured out, but I like leaning in that direction. That, like, I agree it's nicer to think that being a nice person matters. But
right.
But it's that thing where it's like, I was just watering the grass. I didn't mean to kill all these fucking animals that I flooded.
Yeah, but these are shitty animals, and those people were like rapists. Like worms were like rapists, right? So like, fucking step on those guys, fuck
And then they
worms.
multiply. Fuck.
Yeah, but at least you killed. Or maybe don't step on. Oh wait, okay, maybe don't step on worms, because then they'll move up, right, to like snails or something. So if you kill a worm, you're like advancing their progress.
Yeah.
Wait, but okay, with the transference of consciousness, because really we got to get into the kind of ethics of it, right? Like, so if I'm I'm sorry that I keep talking about Elon, but he is the richest man in the world, and he's the perfect example. He's a
Yeah.
billionaire, probably going to be a trillionaire in like 4 years. If he can transfer his consciousness, he's supreme leader for all time, right? Like he has more money than anyone. He can just transfer his consciousness. This is not the way that the question started when I started
No,
talking,
but
but
I'm going to interrupt you and say, hey, if you had a
please.
power word, if you had a power word in your will that was like, I'm going to will my money to the future me, but the future me has got to have these answers. Then you grow up later and you have the answers. Can you get all that
Uh-huh.
money?
Right, right, right.
otherwise, there was no material gain for, not that reincarnation is supposed to be about material gain, but if you're king, might as well keep the castle.
Well, but are we getting into the science of it? Like, is this a thing that can actually happen? Like, could we? Because I know that they've put like
Neuralink and
yeah, on like
electrodes,
monkeys and
and
they're like controlling fucking arms and shit. Like, but we can't be close to like
it's all blown out of the water with quantum computers. What could take a supercomputer thousands of years to do, a quantum computer could do almost instantly. I'm just saying, like, if like
right.
looking, they are amazingly fast, and
Well,
they are going
yeah,
to
I mean,
progress everything you can think of so
I
quickly. And I
know, I
think
know, I
that's
know,
the only
I know.
way.
Wait, but is that good? This doesn't sound good to me. Just like this prison of Earth, we're gonna self-imprison
Right?
on
We
like
might
Earth.
accidentally stop ourselves in this natural process of living by holding on to Earth.
Well, until we kill it, and then what happens? Like, I guess Mars or whatever. Brett, I don't know. You look like you're champing at the bit to say something.
The next step of evolution is transhumanism. Like we will no longer be human anymore. We will just be robots with previously human consciousness,
Would
just
that be?
furthering
Would that
destroying the
be?
earth.
Would that be a cyborg at that point?
Well,
Sure.
picture some people think that,
I know it's
I
so
mean,
it's such a stupid question. Like, well, then how do you define humanity?
some
Go
people
on,
think
Willie.
that the gray aliens is like, uh, well, not that the consciousness was put into it, but it is an AI that's so smart. The small grays, it's an AI that's so smart.
Just the small grays, everyone. Willie doesn't want to misspeak. It's just the
Yeah,
small
right.
grays.
Not the tall ones.
We don't want to generalize.
But when you look at this old sci-fi trope of like, oh, they can't reproduce anymore, so they're here to do genetic tests, and like,
Right, right, right.
God, it kind of makes sense with where we're going. That like, well, we
Yeah,
bred
and
out
okay,
breeding.
okay. But if that happens, that means this sucks, right? That means that people are transferring their consciousness to become these aliens and then they can't like reproduce anymore. So like isn't that bad in the end? I mean, this is kind of like when horses fuck donkeys, right? And then they just have a mule and then they can't reproduce.
Picture playing a video game that you get immersed into, and but like not being able to come out of
What,
it.
what
you
It
know,
was the only game I could afford back in the
like
day.
picture Sims, like picture getting addicted to Sims, and then being like, hey, you could be your character. Oh, sure, I'll be that for a little bit. I was like, oh, whoops, we can't get you out. I'm just like pointing out that like what might be sound like a good idea might actually like fuck you in the end. Like,
Well, don't you think? I mean, my whole point is like, doesn't evolution stop if we're putting? And okay, well, let me. I don't know, Brett, because like, yes, I agree with you that evolution will be cybernetic, right? I don't think that our evolution, because it takes thousands and thousands of years, it's 100% not going to keep up with like the advancements of technology. So we will be able to like put our brains into different people. And that, by the way, where are these people coming from?
I don't
healthy
know.
young person that just died,
Yeah.
So it's
you
like,
save that body and you can have it.
right. So it's just like the richest people. Because
Yeah.
like who's this guy who died but the body is perfect, you know?
It might be a get out situation. We
Where you
have
take over, yeah.
just have rich people putting themselves into young, healthy bodies.
Yeah, you
Fuck.
picture the old trope of the devil gets your soul. It's like, yeah, you know what? I was famous for a second. I didn't read the fine print. Like you're gonna take over my body next year.
Well, that's funny to introduce the devil. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm pontificating on, oh, if I sold my soul to the devil, then he would just like take my body is not great, but it's better than an 80-year-old man's, right? So like
Yeah.
they would just like take my body because I sold my soul to the devil for whatever reason. My first question was never answered by either of you, I don't think. Would you continue your life if you could transfer your consciousness into a different person or a robot? Would you do that, or would you just be like, nah, I'm gonna go to the darkness?
Here's my argument against that. I do not believe that you really can transfer your consciousness into a robot or even another human being, a clone. Once your body dies with your brain, you are done. Whatever that comes after you that seems like you, that's just a copy.
But
And
does that go on?
I was going to go on a tangent about how the X-Men comic books that were recently what they call the Krakoa era is they kept sending the X-Men on all these suicide missions because they're, oh, we'll just clone them. So basically, there are no more original X-Men alive. They have all been killed, and the only existing mutants are clones of clones of clones. And that
Do
bums me
you
out.
is it like did you ever see the Michael Keaton movie Multiplicity, I believe?
I haven't
And
seen that, no.
okay, well, this it's an '80s or oh, it's a '90s
It's a
movie,
comedy, right?
and it's a comedy. He recreates himself so many times that like he basically like it's taking a copy of a copy of a copy, and so it degenerates over
Yeah,
time. And he's like, there's like a I'm sorry to use that word, but like fuck it.
I'll
He's like
co-sign it.
retired at some point, and so he's like acting, which is like I don't know, maybe funny in hindsight and and I'm wondering, is that the case? Like when you transfer your consciousness to a new person, is it degraded in some way and you're
Yeah,
not
some
really
data could be
you?
left behind.
Right?
Right.
Is Nirvana actually a copy of a copy? Ignorance is bliss, and you're like taking away what you know.
Oh my God. I thought you were talking about the band and I was like, yeah, well, they stole from the Pixies, I guess. So is Nirvana just like lobotomizing yourself is kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Ignorance is bliss.
Right. Well, and is that where we are? And I don't want to be political, but like, is that where we are in the current day? Where like, and you could wrap all
Yeah,
this into the Buddhist stuff, where it's just like, because Buddhism is not about like external things factoring into your enjoyment of life, right? Like, it's supposed to be all about like how you are inside and like what makes you feel good.
Yeah, it's like stopping the suffering. It's like we're all made to suffer, but like you can get yourself out of that because I don't know, like just from your birth, we suffer, and you can grow out of that.
But the isn't that's the point, right? Like to suffer through. But I was a cesarean, so I've had it easy, man. I didn't have trauma when I was born, so I don't know how to react to it.
I don't know. It's weird to compare cesareans to
No
natural
one's ever
births.
done that study, right? Has anyone ever done? I would be interested in that study of
I've
cesareans versus
I've read articles
natural
about it,
birth.
so they're but like who funded that? Is this
Oh my
just people
God.
coming
Stop
up with
thinking
shit?
about who funding. Like, why do you
It's
think that everything is bought and paid for, man? Like,
big C-section corporations are funding that.
yeah, man, we need more surgeries.
When you were thinking of consciousness transference in reference to like video games, what game comes to your mind first?
Soma is always number one. It's
Spell
indie
it?
Soma, Soma.
Okay.
It's an indie horror game by Frictional Games. Came out in 2015. This guy named Simon Jarrett gets his brain scanned, passes out, and wakes up on an abandoned underwater scientific research facility called Pathos 2. He learns that he actually died and his consciousness was transferred into a modified corpse 89 years later. The corporation that bought the research facility turned all the surviving people into biomechanical mutants to fulfill its task of preserving humanity. Simon learns that the remaining humans on Earth transferred their consciousness into a box called the Ark, which features a digital world for everyone to live on as it floats around space. And that was my condensed Wikipedia summary.
But
That
what
sounds fucking awesome. I would love to play that game because like everyone else is figuring out that like it didn't work out and whatever memories you have left is like what you're going forward with. How long did the game take you to play?
It might be like a 10-hour game.
well, it's a kind of tiny game.
That's
But it
awesome.
moved me. And it's one of those
Yeah.
games where there's a lot of there's journals, audio journals that helps build the world of all the previous employees at this station.
In the game, is it in, like are you valued for your memory or are you treated like is the people that are preserved, are they on a pedestal or are they more like we're just keeping you like a museum?
I mean, I gave away the ending, but Simon is trying to figure out how he got there and where all these people went because there's no more human beings on the station. He thinks he's talking to people, but they're just leftover AI recreations. And because he woke up 89 years later from when he first got his brain scanned, he doesn't know what the fuck happened to planet Earth and why there's like an underwater facility station that is going to shoot things into space somehow.
Would you guys? My question has still been unanswered. Would you guys do that?
No,
You wouldn't do it.
nope.
I'm into it.
Willie, you would do it. You would
I'm
transfer
in.
your consciousness.
I'm into researching into it more because I'm still deathly afraid of death, and I like the idea of seeing the future. And you know,
Oh,
vampirism was always cool for me. Like
here's
oh,
what I
well,
want
you
to
know, kind
ask.
of.
Here's what I want to ask. I feel like this punches so many holes in the reincarnation of any kind, even well, not this because this would have to be linear, but one of the things I was wondering about reincarnation, and I know it varies by what religion you're a follower of, but it's always in the future. So you're like a deer or whatever, and then when you become a tiger, it's like in the future. It's like in the future. It's not, you don't go back. It's like time is linear. So when you die, you become a new thing at the same point. You know, where people are like, oh, I'm pretty sure this is my baby is my grandfather reincarnated or whatever. So it's like linear. But can you ever, in reincarnation, to either of your readings or studies, can you just like go back and be like a fucking like serf, you know?
I would argue no.
Well, doesn't that blow up the whole fucking thing? Because like if time is linear and you believe in time, then how can reincarnation it breaks me in a weird way, and
Well,
I don't know
I
why.
and I don't believe time is linear, and I also have you heard this theory
No,
that
time's linear and that's a fact.
if I want to think that time is not linear, then I have to try to wrap my brain about how that works. You know, because like the story of the egg, where it's like, oh, the universe is trying to train you to, or God, you could say God is trying to train you to be a god, right? How would he do that? She, they, whatever. Well, why don't you live a whole existence of a universe and you're everyone in it?
It's so tedious.
I would say that reincarnation is just the power ball. Like once you die, you get put in that back into the machine, and then they find you a new body, and they throw you out. Here's your new body. Good luck. Make it worthwhile. But it's in a
For
linear timeline.
okay,
You could
for
be a
eternity
deer
though.
in the old west, but then in the future you could be a tiger that ends up in a zoo.
So we're here now. So we started as like, you know, bugs or whatever, and we made it. We were bugs, and like I mean, the bug life is like what, 2 days, 3 days, something. So you start as a bug, You get like 2 days to develop some sort of like instinctual like danger is present thing.
It's like
And then
danger walking.
yeah,
It's like,
you're just like, I don't know, I want to fuck and like not get killed. And like that's your two thoughts of as being a bug. And then you move into like being a squirrel or something, and they last for like a year. I don't know how long squirrels live. Maybe like a small, they're like small cats. They might live to be like 10, but whatever. So maybe that's not the next step. But like, so time is linear. So we were like squirrels like I don't know 1,000 years ago, and then we came up and like we all like were humans at some point, and now we're just humans. Whoa,
I don't think it's like a Pokemon evolution lineage. You don't just get bigger and better
I
every time. You might
okay.
go
Well,
around
you're
the map.
misrepresenting what I was saying. I mean, I'm not saying that we morph into like a better version of ourselves. Okay, if you follow this line of thinking, all I'm saying is, wouldn't our next life would be a higher form, right? I think
yeah,
that's why I'm like, it's not capped at humans. Like, there's some shit that we don't know, and that
for
would be the
sure.
next thing.
People could argue, I believe there's aliens, or I believe that there's higher intelligence here on Earth, but it's just like we would see that. We would see, and you look at the population of humans. That's always been one thing for reincarnation. Like, why are there more humans now than there's ever been? Where are they coming from? Where are these souls coming from if there's a soul?
Right.
They're all
Donuts?
dodos.
Oh,
Dodos that are
donut.
now extinct.
Oh, shit. Yeah, extinct. No shit. We didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
Like, we've
dodos
got
are all the Instagram influencers now.
about to be, about to be, um, extinct once again, right?
Hopefully.
Because there's a new thing. Or maybe it's the TikTok people.
So in my version, I do believe that I'm a container for my consciousness, and my consciousness is experiencing the universe through this container. And outside of it, it's just a whole nother universe, you know. And so to be
Yeah.
put in this prohibits you from seeing the universe the way that it is, because
Yeah.
you're choosing this experience. And so
Right.
the universe is not physical. And I think that this is just an aquarium. I'm swimming in it and I'm going to jump out of it. And so,
It's a little sort of agnostic, right? Or apathetic, I guess, to just be like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, maybe this world sucks, but I'm just gonna like come back and or is it, I mean, I guess it's the choices you make when you come. I don't know.
well, I think about the problems that I have in my day to day life and I go, what lessons am I not learning? You know, like what am I not learning every fucking day? Because it's not like I'm just
Right.
walking around happy all fucking day. And I'm like, how many times do I get in my way of learning something? Most of the
Right.
time, you know, I fucking know everything
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I don't know shit. I'm also an idiot. I don't know anything.
Well,
And
it's
I want,
introspection. So what, so at what phase are you saying introspection is?
I definitely stop myself from looking inward too much because I spend so much time looking outward into this universe, whether it be the things I like, the video games, even thinking about the universe or whatever. I'm saying everything that I do stops me from looking in. And so when I do have little problems that I either face or ignore, most of the time it's easier for me to not face them, you know. And so when I look at this version of Buddhism where it's like, well, you know, the point of it is to grow. So start growing now. Like fucking fix your shit now and don't suffer now. It's so much easier to do not in America.
So you so well, dude, come on. I mean, it's got to
uh,
be easiest in America. We got it made here. Yeah, introspection is harder, I think. Maybe, I don't know, because your mind is more loud or
like,
whatever.
is it easier to meditate in an apartment you can't afford or a house that's like so expensive that like you're worried about turning off lights?
Those are the
I'm just
only
laughing.
two
I'm just laughing.
options.
I know,
What about
right?
a cave? What about a fucking hut?
I'm just laughing, going like, when I think I love the start of like life is suffering. Like no matter what.
It's a liberating thought, but it doesn't help.
No, but it helps me like not. suffer as much about things that, like, when something bad happens, I tend to not overreact, because not because I'm like, oh, of course this is going to happen to me. It's more like this bad thing happened and my reaction to it is an energy that I can kind of take charge of.
What's your reaction, Brett, to like, let's say you had a fire in your apartment. What's your reaction? So you said you're married.
Nope, single.
Oh,
Uh,
I thought you said you were married. Didn't you say you had a wife?
I was probably,
I think
yeah, I was joking.
Oh,
I don't know
sorry.
if that was
So
on the pod or
anyway,
not.
you're in your place. Do you live with your girlfriend or?
Live by myself in a
Okay,
studio
okay,
apartment.
okay, great. All right, me too. Do you have a cat?
I have plants, that's it.
Okay. All
So
right.
there's a fire in my apartment. I'm grabbing
There's a
my hard
fire in your
drive.
apartment. Oh, you're just bailing. You're not even trying to put the fire out. You're just grabbing
Oh
your
yeah,
hard
that would be
drive.
number one. I'm
Well, how do you
Irish and
do that?
from
How do you?
Boston,
Well,
like family of firefighters. It would be shameful for me to not try and put it
are you
out.
really? Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe fire's not great because you have a lineage of firefighters. Um, well, all right. Well, how about this? How about this? An earthquake happens and like your wall fucking falls off. Like, what's your reaction to that? Are you good? All I'm saying is, are you good in in I don't want to say tragedy,
disaster.
disaster.
Are you asking if I'm fight or flight?
I
Maybe.
guess kind of. I just like what's your thinking? What's your thinking if that were to happen?
I think we'd all would like to think that we could be some kind of a hero, if not to others than ourselves. That I would get myself out safely and salvage my important possessions. But I don't have any cats or loved ones in here to
But are
save.
you clear-headed about it or are you frantic?
Again, I'd like to think I could be
Have you not
clear-headed,
been
but I
challenged ever? Have you has there never been a moment? Let's say you're at a bar and your friend starts talking some shit
I
and
have
this guy wants
defended
to
those
like,
drunk friends every single time,
"Oh,
knowing that I'm gonna get my ass kicked. I jump in and I take so many punches.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay. That's my answer. So you're a courageous man who's gonna step up. Because I feel like if my friend started some shit, I'd be like, fuck you, dude.
I have unfortunately been loyal to some people that maybe didn't deserve that.
Right. And friends for too long. Like I've taken too many liberties with our friendship. Not liberties, but like I've defended you too many times and I mean, are they still your friends? These guys who got
Nope,
in bar fights? Yeah.
no. After two or three fights defending
Yeah, you grow
this
up and you're like,
guy,
fuck this, dude. I don't need this stress.
yeah,
But it's good to know. It's good to know. I feel like I would be very level-headed in an emergency. And I think part of that is just because I don't know how else to react other than like the second that something goes wrong, I'm planning for how to make it right. And like maybe I'm not the best at like shielding people from damage or whatever the thing is, but my brain into like, okay, this happened. Fucking like, how do I keep going? Willie, you look like you're about to say something.
I'm just analyzing that too, because I'm like, I'm hopeful that I'm in that way, but
But how do you
I
not know? How do you not know after 40 something years? Like,
I mean, I
don't you think you
haven't
know?
been in too many situations. You know what I
There
mean?
hasn't been
Like,
even like a little fucking thing where like the fight or flight. I think Brett is that's the perfect way to put it. Like, are you a fighter or a flighter?
most of my life, I've been a flighter.
I mean, we're
Fucking
all in
coward.
LA just
Fucking
experiencing the
coward.
fires. I'm sure a lot of us were trying to figure out where do we go if we
What
need
did
to
you guys
evacuate.
do? I just sat here. I didn't do anything. I didn't fight or flight. I was just like, I don't know, let's see what happens. What did you guys do? Did you bail? I know Willie did.
I did not bail, but I was not in an area that I was too worried. But I have a level of anxiety where I was trying to plan some stuff out if need be.
Well,
What I
let's do it like this because I whatever. Let's just say that we're now in Nazi America and they're coming around and rounding up people. What's your recourse? Like, what do you think that you might do? I'll say this just to start it off, or really should we just like should we close this?
Let's close it on Wolfenstein
Well,
3
we could,
right there.
but we could talk about it on the. We could. It would be a good bonus to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
know
This
like
could be the
what we would
bonus.
do in Nazi Germany or
I
Nazi
will
America.
say just my quick answer of the fires. It was like, dude, I was outside and I didn't know if I was panicking or if I couldn't breathe because we had ashes falling in our area. I mean, it wasn't. I don't know if you saw,
I mean, I'm like right there, dude, and I was not worried.
but yeah. But we had ash and we've got dog, we've got moose, and it was like so. We just got out of town. We have our oh shit bag. We've got all of our documents ready to go.
Brett,
But
do you have a oh shit bag? Do you have a go bag?
Nope,
Nothing. Do you have water?
not bottled. No.
you could tell that we kind of left in a hurry because we were leaving for like let's say 4 days. I only brought one fanny pack. I didn't like pack it, which is something that I pack too many fanny packs when I'm
Yeah,
going
Willie's
traveling.
famously a fanny pack guy.
Dude, that was so stupid.
I had one
I,
hat and one fanny pack, and it didn't match any of my outfits for those 4 days. I was like, dude, I feel so dumb right now.
This green fanny pack doesn't match this fucking blue
it's
shirt.
orange. It clashes. I mean, I guess that's a funny thing to, I don't know, think about. Yeah,
But I
you
had
have a
cash. I
family
got
and
my
stuff.
passports. Yeah, yeah.
You have multiple passports. I think that's illegal.
Just yeah, yeah.
One's an oh shit passport.
Yeah, it's, it's fucking.
Here's me. Here's me. I've been here my whole life. Wink.
Hey, are you worried about? I know we need to close this out, Willie, but are you worried about your brother? Is he gonna get?
Yeah, 100%. He's out, dude. He was not born in America. His passport,
Well,
he's
but can they
grandfathered
find?
in.
Can they find him though?
I mean, he does taxes every year, so yeah,
Yeah, they got him. Let's see what happens.
he's out, dude. He's one of the ones that's not going to make it.
And
I
he's
hope
just
no
gonna
one
go
in
to
the
the
White House is
Philippines.
listening to this.
Well, if he's done taxes, they're ahead of us. I don't know that he's just gonna be in the Philippines. That's an interesting thing too. Like, let's say you just wind up in Spain or something. Like, what do you
Right?
do?
He's not a
Like,
citizen in the Philippines, even though he was born there. They don't accept
no.
him as a
And what
citizen.
are these people gonna do? Whatever. We got to end this episode.
Tune
I
into the
really,
Patreon episode if you want to hear who of us would save our Jewish friends in Nazi America.
yeah, which of us are Nazis? Stay tuned. Thank you, Brett, for being here. You didn't want to promote this off the top, but there is, if you're in LA, there is a post-apocalyptic short film that you worked on. It's called Fate of the World. It's coming out on Valentine's Day. It's at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. It was Grauman's or Man? They changed the name, right?
I never remember, so I just say the
Like
Chinese
whatever it is,
theater.
it's like a stadium that changes sponsorships.
Did they
So
change
if
it?
well, it was Man. Now I think it's Grauman's.
Wow,
Right?
you're right. Yeah. I thought it was Man Grauman. So I don't know.
Well, who knows? Who gives a fuck? It's all sponsorship. It doesn't matter. That sounds cool. You did audio for it. Like you were
So
there with the boom mic and stuff.
yeah, I did all of the recordings, but it was just me and a couple of buddies. It was directed by Jack Robichaud, the stand-up comedian. He had a big sketch group called Dead Kevin that was on Comedy Central, Comedy Central's like web presence.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds
Okay,
familiar.
yeah.
So Fate
Yeah.
of the World, I always pitch it as basically Beavis and Butthead and Mad Max. It's just a short film. We're trying to get some eyes on it. It's one of the few things I've worked on that I'm proud of in terms of film production.
Well, that's fun. I mean, that's good. That's good that you're proud of it. It's rare to not be a creative and be proud of it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to diss you. Like
especially
I
as like
get
a
it.
film production crew member, we all take jobs where we're just like in our heads, like this sucks.
Totally.
No one fucking said anything about the script.
I know. I know. So check that out. It's called Fate of the World. If you're in LA, it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, look
It'll
up
be
Jack
it'll be
Robichaud on Instagram. Robichaud spelled Robichaud. Jack
Oh, I
Robichaud.
nailed it. I got it in my
You'll
head.
find that
Willie, did you
info.
get it in your head? I
I
nailed it.
missed the AUD.
I got that. I got it. I'm smarter than you. Right. You're going to stick around, continue the conversation on our
Yes,
Patreon?
sir.
All right. We're looking forward to it. So thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. And don't forget to see Companion in theaters on January 31st. I know that this is probably out past that, but
you can go watch it.
Yeah, you still throw your money at it. It's a good movie. It's like a movie that like should be made more, you know? Remember, just because you're paranoid, don't mean they're not after you. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Real life sci-fi.